Thank you very much for having us here. Ni hao me. Thank you. Gracias. My name is Daniela Segovia. I am from Venezuela in South America. I am a former diplomat, a political scientist by training, and a policy maker. But more than titles, I carry a story shaped by movement, reinvention, and a deep commitment to human rights. Well, I came from a country who used to receive thousands of migrants and refugees. So I began my journey in international affairs more than 20 years ago in 2001 as an intern in the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees in my hometown in Caracas. I just started university and suddenly I saw this kind of situation. I found myself face to face with the reality, the stark reality of Colombian refugees who had fled violence and crossed into my country seeking safety. That experience showed me that displacement is not just about borders. It's about dignity, survival, and the quiet strength of those forced to start over. I still remember the stories they shared, stories of families torn apart, women rebuilding their lives with nothing but courage and hope. Those moments stayed with me, shaped the way I see policy, because it's not just paperwork, but it's a tool to protect lives. So there is lives, human lives, beyond statistics, as you mentioned before. So being one of the statistics of Venezuelan living abroad, I moved to Mexico in 2018. So thank you, Mexico, for receiving me. And after working at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in my home country for more than a decade, I had to reframe my professional and personal life in a new context. I never imagined that, but 20 years later, of being an intern in my hometown in Caracas in the UN Agency for Refugees, I returned to the agency, but this time in Mexico, and working alongside this kind of forced displacement of so many Venezuelans, my own people. The role have shifted, the borders have changed, but the pain is familiar, and so is the urgency. Today, I stand here not just as a professional, but as someone who has seen both sides of displacement, who has listened, learned, and committed to building systems that center dignity, inclusion, and leadership from those most affected. Because displacement is not just a challenge to be managed, it's a call to reimagine how we respond, how we collaborate, and how we honor the stories that too often go unheard. That is what brought me here. So, starting over wasn't easy. I arrived in Mexico with no social capital, no network, no roadmap, but I was determined to keep advocating for human rights. I reinvented myself, working as a lecturer, policy analyst, and eventually as a humanitarian practitioner. I wasn't afraid to jump between fields, academia, media, NGOs, and international organizations, and build my own bridges. In Mexico, I worked directly with a displaced population, also from Haiti, Cuba, Central America, and beyond. And I was in charge of the legal orientation in the field in Mexico City for people arriving through the Darien Gap in Panama, and coordinated also UN Interagency Platform for Venezuelans, R4V, and I could saw firsthand the complexity of human mobility and also the resilience of those who navigated. Today, I am part of the Refugee Self Reliance Initiative, supporting refugee-led organizations across Latin America, because I believe those closest to the crisis must be at the center of the solution. We need to move beyond top-down models and invest in leadership from within displaced communities. My story is not unique. It's one of millions, but I share it today because I believe that policy must be wrought in lived experience, and that inclusion is not just a principle. It's a practice. It's something we build every single day, in every space like this one, with every voice. So thank you very much for listening.